Because infirmity is the opposite of affirmation. When Jesus, the Son of God, comes up out of those waters, he hears Papa saying, I love you for who you are at the core of your being. And when you know who you are, you don't have to prove it to anybody. And so the moment he's affirmed in who he is, the Spirit says, let's see if you got this. And he drives him into the wilderness for a period of transition. The door has closed on Mary, the carpenter's son. It's about to open on the Messiah of Nazareth. But in between, he's got to go through the the hallway. And in that in-between place, what the enemy goes after is the core of his identity, and yet his goal is to get him to perform to prove he is who he is. If you are, do this, do this, do this. If you are the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. Do you understand that when you know you are the bread, you don't need to make any bread? Because you have meat to eat that the devil hasn't got a clue what you're feeding on. What are you feeding on, Jesus? I'm feeding on my Papa's word of affirmation. And until he says something else, that food will get me through this hallway. Because I've come to do his will, and in the volume of the book, I already know the destiny map. I know the script. I know the beginning and the middle and the end. Devil, my whole life has been prophesied. Therefore, my whole life is about to be a predictable nightmare for you. Say, hold on. My change is coming. My dream is on time. Hold on. My change is coming. My dream is on time. Hold on. My change is coming. My dream is on time. Tell somebody you're going to get out of the hallway. Stay with me. And when Jesus finishes the work on that first Sunday morning, having arisen not just from the dead, but he rose from death itself. He rose from death itself, and Mary Magdalene is outside that tomb weeping. And she supposes him to be the gardener. That's a pretty good supposition because he is the original gardener. The Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden. And here he is standing outside the empty tomb, and she's crying over a Jesus she remembers from Friday. But between Friday and Sunday, he passed through a hallway. And who he was on Friday was the man of sorrows. Who he is on Sunday, if you know who he is, will stop you from crying about the fact that you lost who he was on Friday. And so he says to her, stop clinging to who I was 3 days ago. I'm not the man of sorrows anymore. He says, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go ahead of me back to Jerusalem, and I need you to tell the disciples, and by the way, make sure you say it a number of times to Peter, because he's processing his pain and thinks because of his setback over the last 3 days that I've disqualified him. But he's not Judas, he's Peter. And you tell him, I ascend to my God and your God, to my Father and your Father. Chironna translation, you tell the disciples and tell Peter, what's true of me is now true of you. Let me say it again. When he says, go tell them, I ascend to my God and your God, my Father and your Father, he is basically telling them that what is true of me is now true of you. In other words, tell them now, because of the finished work, they have the right to say, lo, I come. In the volume of the book, it is written of me. Have you not read through Abraham and Sarah and discovered in a season in your life that God brought you from barrenness to birth in the spirit of faith? Then the book is talking about you. That's your destiny map. Have you not read the story of Isaac and the birth of sonship and your heir as sons of God? That means the volume of the book is all about you. You're not reading about Isaac, you're reading about you. Has God not given you a dream that other people have rejected, but you can't let go of it because your heart demands that you keep on dreaming? Then you have the right biblically, because of what he accomplished, to say in the face of every opposing voice and every demonic onslaught, lo, I come. In the volume of the book, it is written of me, I delight to do thy will, O God. Stay with me, because there comes a point where you won't know the greatness for which you are born until you become aware of the greatness of the opposition you meet. Because the devil sees where you are going. He is not dealing with you based on where you are. He has already seen what God has for you, and he's got to take you out now, because he knows if he doesn't, you will put a tremendous hurt on his already crumbling kingdom. Which is why the first person you need to prophesy to in the hallway is yourself. And the best prophecy you can tell yourself in between a former somewhere and a not yet revealed somewhere is, hold on. My change is coming. My dream is on time. I dare you, give God a shout. Let me hear you say it. Hold on. What? What else? Say it again. Say it again. One more time. Do you believe it? Watch. What is transition anyway? It It is any event or non-event. I'll stop right there. Transition can be an event or a non-event. In other words, it can be something you didn't see coming or something you wanted to show up that didn't show up and is not gonna show up on your timetable. So transition is an event or a non-event that results in changed relationships, routines, assumptions, and roles. Relationships, routines, assumptions, and roles. When God slams the door on a chapter in your life, certain people are not with you anymore in the hallway. And sometimes we get stuck at the far end of the hallway because we wish they were still with us. But if they were supposed to be with you, they'd be on this side of the door. The reason they're not there is that you've outgrown your need to be codependent Not only that, your routines change. When you were on this side of the door, you knew where the sofa was. You knew where the remote was. You knew where the fridge was. But when you're in the hallway on this side of the door, ain't no sofa, ain't no fridge, ain't no remote, ain't no light switch. It really is hell in the hallway. And I've been to hell so many times in the last season of my life that the last time I was there, I brought nice looking wallpaper so that at least if I got to go back, I got something to look at that encourages me.